Two former state lawmakers plead guilty to a federal criminal charge and move one step closer to sentencing in a corruption case. KITV4's Paul Drews tells us what the men admitted to this morning before a federal judge. Paul.
Well, the men admitted their guilt in conducting wire fraud. Now, while this case involved bribes of state lawmakers, the charge against them was wire fraud because they failed to disclose that money that was given illegally to them. Now they'll have to pay back thousands of dollars they received in bribes before being sentenced. Federal magistrate was not the only one judging two former Hawaii lawmakers facing a felony charge as they entered their pleas.
Guilty as hell. Bribes. They took money.
Former State Senator Kalani English and House Representative Ty Cullen both entered a guilty plea for failing to report money on their annual financial disclosure report. They were accused of taking money from a wastewater executive and voting on legislation in support of that business, a violation of the state's ethics code.
We receive hundreds of complaints per year. Common complaints can involve misuse of state property, using state property inappropriately for personal gain, personal benefit. It may involve conflicts of interest.
The State Ethics Commission oversees lawmakers and thousands of other state employees to make sure they follow the law.
We have the tens of thousands of state employees, I think, are very ethical and try to do the right course of behavior. There's a small percentage of people who may try to push the envelope of what's allowed, and those are the folks that we want to try to address.
Last year, the Ethics Commission investigated 123 complaints, which resulted in charges for 10 cases, along with over $20,000 in fines. After pleading guilty, the two former lawmakers may also face fines from the State Ethics Commission. Cullen must also pay $23,000 in fines, which is how much he received in bribes. English must pay more than $13,000. They will both be sentenced for this criminal conviction in July. And some feel their actions have eroded residents' confidence in Hawaii's lawmakers.
I think there is no public trust in government right now. And I want to do all I can to try to regain that public trust.
Mizuno and other lawmakers support several bills advancing through the state capitol, which would require ethics training for all state workers and clarify what gifts can be given to lawmakers and how they're reported. The measures would require more transparency of government employees.
Transparency helps. It really does curb bad behavior, and it allows stakeholders to have both confidence in government because they can see what's going on, and also to call out bad behavior as well.
For the most part, I do trust our state lawmakers. I believe they are there to help the citizens of the state. But like I said, when there's a legislator that's been in the office for such a long time, it's always good to keep things as transparent as possible and make sure everyone is not going behind the law or think they're above the law.
Now, Cullen and English were able to post $50,000 bonds, so they will remain free until their sentencing, and that will take place on July 5th. Reporting live, Paul Drews, KITV4 Island News.
Paul, thank you. The state Senate issued a statement on today's guilty plea saying, "We are dismayed and disappointed by the events that have transpired over the past week. The egregious actions of former Senator English and former Representative Cullen have severely undermined the legislature's credibility, destroyed public trust, and have casted a pall over the work that the Senate is trying to accomplish for the people of Hawaii." The Senate also reiterated it condemns the actions of the former lawmakers and will work to make sure that they're prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law.
Multiple reports place businessman and Democratic Party donor Milton Choi as the person at the center of this bribery scandal. In the federal charging documents, he was identified as person A, who sought to benefit from favorable legislation and offering cash and other gifts for that purpose. Choi is represented by attorney Michael Green, who has not confirmed his client is person A, but he does tell KITV4 he does expect his client to be charged within the next 90 days. Here's what he had to say about the legislators pleading guilty today.
Benefit to my client is that he's able to show that they were corrupt. And sometimes the government will ask the court to consider that cooperation in any ultimate sentence. So the fact they pled guilty is certainly would benefit whoever the person was that cooperated to cause them to agree they were corrupt at the time.
Green would not say how long Choi had been involved with the feds or if other legislators or public officials may be caught up in the probe, but says his sense is that this investigation is ongoing and could continue through the end of this year.